Infowars.com had a chance to catch up with financial expert Max Kaiser in London, where Max gives us his insights on the European financial collapse and his recent trip to Greece with Mexican billionaire Hugo Salinas Price, as well as the devastation of JP Morgan's balance sheet by the new Silver Liberation Army.
Well, it's great to be in London because, you know, all these global financial crimes usually go through London. It's the least regulated banking center in the world. So AIG, Lehman Brothers, MF Global, Madoff all went through London. So this audience is key because it's right here in their neighborhood that all these crimes are taking place. So I think once we get these people in London to understand the enemy lurking within, that's a major step forward.
Here's something in the UK press. Short of cash for lunch? How about a toast sandwich? The austerity sandwich, which scientists have acclaimed as the cheapest lunch in Britain, consists of 2 slices of bread surrounding a filling of another slice of bread.
Well, the Queen's Diamond Jubilee here in London, it's a spectacular event. It's great for the kids.
We're very fortunate to be here during the Queen's Jubilee. Very exciting. And of course, everyone's going branding crazy. Did we just pick this up in Manchester? There might be some available. Here's the Queen, portrayed as a lizard. The lizard Queen.
If there were any significance to come out of it, the Queen would announce a debt jubilee. She would say that she's going to work to have people in Athens and people in Ireland and people in her Commonwealth who are being subjected to financial repression get some relief with a debt jubilee. It's in her purview to do so. She's got the jewels. She's got the Buckingham Palace. She's got the megaphone. Okay, do something significant.
I want to ask the question, why shouldn't there be a Queen's debt jubilee? There should be a Queen's debt jubilee because all these debts that have been put in place by these banks, you know. In Ireland, shamefully, Anglo-Irish Bank accumulated something like a, you know, ungodly sum, €1 trillion or something like this, in unsecured debits, and they're speculating in the markets, and they went bankrupt. And the government decides to back those deposits, and now is imposing austerity measures on the people of Ireland to basically bail out Anglo-Irish Bank. One bank.
The Irish people are being scared into voting against their interests. Same thing. They have a gun pointed to their head. And the government is saying, if you don't vote for this destructive policy, then we're going to come to your house and steal your money. And the people are frightened. So they voted the way that they voted. It's a shame.
And here's a quote from none other than the Sean Fitzpatrick, who is the former CEO of Anglo-Irish, who says, quote, "The cause of our problem was global. So I can't say sorry with any kind of sincerity. I suggest you cut the sacred cows of Irish society, children, the elderly, and healthcare." After he made that statement, the government made good on a £1 billion unsecured debt. What about the word unsecured? Don't you understand? It's unsecured. The person who made that debt knew when they signed off on that debt that there was a probability that they wouldn't be getting paid back. So why is the government making good on an unsecured debt? It's unconscionable. It's unreasonable. It's antisocial. It's absurd. And, you know, Iceland's faced with a similar situation of not being able to pay these debts, essentially declared a debt jubilee, and when asked, the president said, "Look, we don't have any money, but we'll be happy to pay you back in fish." So it got me thinking, the people of Ireland should make this Anglo-Irish debt good, paying back in butter. $1 billion or €1 billion full of butter. And of course the UK can always pay back with the Queen's pussy energy drink. Taste the monarchy!
Do you know that up to two-thirds of the planet, that's all they earn, is 3 grams of silver a day?
That's right. Throughout history, people have worked for 1/10 of an ounce of silver as their daily wage. So imagine if you have 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 ounces of silver, or the appropriate number of grams, you've got your entire retirement package sorted. You're done.
So you're ready to retire?
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
All right, super.
On the engagement.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's the enthusiasm that we're hearing around the world. The Silver Liberation Army. You know, first talked about on Alex Jones' show in November of last year, silver was at 25. It quickly ran up to 50, pulled back to the high 20s, still way, way above where we first talked about it, and heading toward $500 an ounce is the way I see the silver trading as the banks continue to collapse, as paper currencies continue to collapse.
We are actually winning against Jamie Dimon because, ladies and gentlemen, back when they took over Bear Stearns, they inherited a 3 billion ounce silver short position, a naked silver short position. They sold billions of ounces of silver that don't even exist. And over the course of the last couple of years, they've been trying to trade their way out of this position, but it has exposed their balance sheet to their trillions and trillions of dollars of derivatives, of their phony derivatives, their phony accounting, and as we know, last week they just announced a just disclosed $2 billion loss. Jamie Dimon didn't see it coming. Oh my God! It must be an oversight issue. It's an egregious mistake. No, it's a predictable mistake. There are going to be more of these mistakes. Their balance sheet is woefully vulnerable. Hedge funds around the world are now attacking Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan the way they attacked Greece, the way they attacked Ireland, the way they're attacking Spain. So the hedge funds are now attacking one of their own. This is a $140 billion company market capitalization. It will go the way of Enron. It will go the way of WorldCom. It will go the way of Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns. It's going to the big fat goose egg on that stock price of 0. And why is this important? It's important because these guys, these terrorists, these schmatas down there on Wall Street for the last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years have been effectively stealing our money.
Are you going to Greece with Hugo Salinas Price to reintroduce the 3-gram drachma?
Yes.
Silver drachma.
Yes, this man is brought this for me. It's a kilo of silver. This means that Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan's balance sheet just got destroyed by 10 times, 100 times this amount. And the answer is yes.
Cash money for silver.
Well, the new party, Syriza, is, we've talked to them, we're in the process of communicating with them because Hugo Salinas Price, who is on my show, he's a billionaire, lives in Mexico. He's been pushing for a silver reserve standard in Mexico. He wants to bring this message to Greece, and we're going to fly down on his jet, hopefully next week or so, speak with this new political party about this campaign to introduce a silver drachma into the Greek economy as a way to solve their problems and a way to get rid of the scourge of banking predators. That is really at the nexus of why that country is suffering.
What the good news is that the campaign to crash JP Morgan and buy silver has put me in touch with people like Hugo Salinas Price, who has another idea involving silver. It's a global idea. It's a way that's very important for the people in Greece to understand now, because this is something that can be embraced now, and it's an idea whose time has come. My ideas are the ideas of a rebel, but Hugo's ideas are the ideas of a true revolutionary.
Why are you in Greece a week before the election? Do you have something to propose
I do
to the
have
government
something to propose.
that could be a solution?
Probably too late, but I do have something.
It's never too late. It's never too late.
If this election does not listen because of lack of time to what I have to say, maybe there will be a next election. And that is that Greece can have the best money in the world, better than the euro, by using parallel. I would suppose that Greece has to go back to the drachma, paper. But along with the paper drachma, for getting the economy to move again, I suggest a silver coin with a quoted monetary value, which can only rise. It will float with the value of silver going up. So people will save, and that will protect the savings of the Greek people and give them confidence to go forward in this, in the creation of a new prosperous Greece.
What I've been saying is that the people themselves need to take action. And since I saw you a year ago,
yes,
we have many people around the world buying silver because the banks are vulnerable. Not only Goldman Sachs, but JP Morgan is another very vulnerable bank. It's another one of what I call the banking terrorists. And thanks to the people in Greece and around the world, JP Morgan has just announced a massive loss. So this is working. If the government won't take on the banks, the people must take on the banks. And this campaign of buying silver is working. The banks are crumbling, and it's working.
But there is good news. I bring good news. Death penalty for bankers. And this is part of this global catastrophe that we are witnessing, where the central bankers are imposing this absurd policy of what they call quantitative easing, what a lot of people rightfully call financial repression. And this is where the central banks, by buying back the bonds that they just sold, they are buying back the gilts that they just sold, they buy them back in the open market. They are attempting to keep interest rates cheap, keep that 10-year rate cheap. They're buying back what they just sold. It's basically there's like dogs eating their own vomit. And they're doing this as a stated policy. And they keep interest rates down there close to 0%. I think the Bank of England just either cut or is about to cut from half a point down to a quarter of a point. That is an artificially cheap rate that does not help the economy whatsoever, because it doesn't help in the creation of capital. People want capital is attracted to higher interest rates. Savings are attracted to higher interest rates. That's where capital goes. And you can't have capitalism without capital. And you can't have capital without savings. And you can't have savings without a reasonably high rate to attract savings. Their entire ideology, their entire economic outlook is flawed. And it's an ideology that comes from the collusion of the city and the Bank of England and this government to oppress you all and me financially. And it's erupting in places like Athens and Dublin and Cairo and Tunis in this global insurrection against this banker occupation. There is a global revolution afoot, and rightfully so, because we're being occupied by financial terrorists at the top, being enabled by this government and the U.S. government and the European government and the people who run Greece, who are not even in the government. They're just technocrats that were parachuted in from Goldman Sachs. That's private equity. That's Wall Street. That's the financial holocaust. These people are no better than the people of the last holocaust. Yes. The fact that they're not being brought up in front of a financial war tribunal for financial holocaust crimes against humanity is a shame. It is outrageous.
Yeah.